Welcome, everybody, to this first TDL Forum of 2021. My name is Christy Park. I'm the director of the Texas Digital Library, and you'll be hearing from me today, as well as Leah DeForest, our communications manager, and a couple of our members and friends who will be sharing an announcement later in today's forum. Since this is set up as a webinar, just a note that all participants' microphones and videos are muted. We hope you'll use the chat box to say hello and let others know you're here or make comments throughout. And if you have a question, you can type it in the Q&A box or in chat. We'll have a few minutes for questions at the end of the forum. Before we get started, I just want to say welcome to this new year together and to share with you some of the photos that our staff enjoyed sharing with each other in our team Slack last week when the Austin area got a very, very unusual snowstorm. One thing we learned, as you can see from these photos, is that our pets all had quite different reactions to the event. Some liked it, some decidedly did not. That snowstorm was a really nice respite from some of the other things happening here at the start of the new year, as we start the year with violence at the Capitol and many of the same troubles like the pandemic that have persisted and even worsened in some places here at the start of the year. But we hope you and yours are safe and well, or at least safe and muddling through, and that you find some sanity and positive meaning like I do in your interactions with your colleagues and in the meaningful work of making the scholarly and cultural record housed at your institutions accessible, meaningful, and secure. This work is really just as important as it ever was, and even more so. We are going to try to keep things pretty short here today because it is a big day here in the US, and we recognize many of you may be wanting to get back to the inaugural events in Washington coming up at the start of the next hour. We do have a few updates that we thought were important to share in a timely manner, but we've postponed some other things like a deeper dive into our strategic plan that we had planned for today. We'll keep those for next month and try to keep things brief and focused today. We'll follow the usual agenda, and in the interest, I'm going to jump right in here with some director's updates. So next slide, please. We start with some really excellent news to share. And that is that TDL this month is welcoming our 26th institution to the consortium, and it's a big one. Arizona State University has joined TDL earlier this month as our first ever member from outside of Texas and our first ever academic journal hosting affiliate member. So this is really big news for TDL, and we're really excited about it. This is a great development on a number of levels, but one nice thing I'll mention here that many of you may appreciate, you may know that TDL's former director, Deborah Henkin-Kurtz, who preceded me in this role, is now the AUL for Technology Services at Arizona State. So this is a fun reunion for many of us. We're excited to be working with Deborah again and with her team in the libraries there. And we're just beginning to work with them. Next slide. To migrate an existing journal to TDL systems called Borrowers and Lenders, the Journal of Shakespeare and Appropriation. This is a journal newly sponsored by the Arizona Center for Medieval and Renaissance Studies at Arizona State, and it's the first open access journal that this group has sponsored. Its other journals up to this point have been subscription based. So this is a big deal for them. We're excited to help that research center move into the open access world. And I know all of you will join me in welcoming Arizona State into our membership and into our OJS users group as you have the opportunity. So moving on, we'll do some services updates. We'll do a few brief updates on hosted services. We've kind of put them all on this omnibus slide today for the sake of time. And starting off, first of all, want to let you know that work has continued on enhanced DSpace usage reports, and our hope is that we'll begin sending out these automated usage statistics reports on a monthly basis starting in February. We will have a longer update on this at the DSpace user group meeting next week on January 26th. But thank you in the meantime to TDL's lead developer, Nick Woodward, and to Adrienne Shapiro from Texas Women's University for their work on this. Second, hosted Vireo users should expect an email in your inboxes next week from Courtney Muma about next steps with upgrades to Vireo version 4 and plans to move those Vireo 4 instances from staging into production this spring. So be on the lookout for that communication. And thank you to Courtney and our Vireo lead, Frank Smutniak, for all their work on that project. Third, with just a couple of exceptions, all 75 of our hosted open access journals have now been upgraded to OJS version 3.2. This last upgrade in the last few weeks was a relatively minor point upgrade that came with some bug fixes and a few new features. So thank you to Nick Woodward and Nick Lawland from our team for all their efforts to keep those journals up to date. And finally, one other OJS piece of news. We now have our first hosted journal successfully archiving journal content in the PKP Preservation Network, which is a private locks network operated by the Public Knowledge Project, and it is available for TDL hosted journals that meet certain requirements. So if you're interested in the PKP Preservation Network, there's more information about using it for our hosted journals in our wiki, which is linked to on the slide here, and Leah's going to paste it in chat for us as well. We'll be talking more about this at our next OJS user group meeting, which is on February 4th, but we're really excited to have some folks using that. It is free to use. There's no charge for using it. Okay, and with that, we will move into our community updates. First up, we hope that you are making plans to attend the Open Texas 2021 virtual conference that we're co-organizing with the Digital Higher Education Consortium of Texas and with our newest co-organizer, the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. We're really excited to have the coordinating board join us in this effort. This event is going to be a statewide opportunity for OER practitioners and researchers of all kinds to share information and to network. Going to be a great event. It's happening March 11th and 12th, and we'll have registration opening very soon, so be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, the program committee is thrilled to announce that Dr. Darian Pollard is going to be the keynote speaker for this inaugural Open Texas Conference. She's pictured here on the slide in the center of that photo. Dr. Pollard is the president of Montgomery College, which is the largest community college in Maryland, and she's an inspiring and energetic speaker committed to student success by improving equity and access in higher education. So we're really, really excited to have her join us for this conference in March. And now I'm going to hand things off to Leah for a few more community announcements. Take it away, Leah.
Thanks, Christy. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. This is Leah DeForest, Communications Manager with Texas Digital Library. I have another OER update. We're really excited to announce 2 more Train the Trainer workshops with the Open Education Network. They're coming up soon. The first one's February 8th, and we're going to be opening registration in coordination with the Open Education Network. So please keep an eye out for an email from me. The next one will be in April. We do have limited seating though, so we hope you can take advantage of one of these workshops. If you have any questions about the workshops or whether you think you should attend, please feel free to email us at info@tdl.org. This week, we have some really great webinars coming up for y'all. We're going to continue two of our most popular webinar series. Tomorrow, we are going to welcome Tomaz Mixa. He is the senior researcher at SBA Research, and he'll present on external tools for Dataverse as part of our Topics in Research Data Management series. Tomorrow's webinar is hosted by TDL's fabulous Texas Data Repository Steering Committee, begins at 1 p.m. Registration's required. I'll drop a couple links into chat here in a sec. On Friday, Stephen Seeloff will return for another webinar with the Institute for Oral History at Baylor University. And Stephen's going to discuss remote interviewing tips for oral historians. That webinar starts at 11 a.m. on Friday. So I'll drop a few links into chat, but first I'm going to hand things off to Bruce Herbert. He is head of scholarly communications at Texas A&M University, and he's going to talk about a new workshop that we're hosting next month. So take it away, Bruce.
Outstanding. Hey, everybody. Happy Inauguration Day on College Station here. Melody Herr from the University of Arkansas and I have organized two webinars on a new topic, or at least new topic for TDL, research integrity. And research integrity is this idea that research is based on trust, and that trust comes from work being done correctly and with integrity. There are the issues around problems with research integrity are really in the news quite a bit. They are requirements to have programs on campuses around research integrity for NIH and NSF programs. And so we think this topic is a really good topic to build out for services and training opportunities on your campus. So these two webinars are an introduction to the topic and guidance on how you could add this to your portfolio of topics to talk about on your campuses. So we hope you join us. I think you'll find it pretty interesting. We're going to use a lot of case studies, and boy, they are really, really interesting.
And I will just chime in to say that this is really practical and actionable information. You are going to come out of these two webinars with a template and a plan for delivering your own instruction module for research integrity. And as an added bonus, you can get a signed letter recognizing your completion of these two webinars, signed by Bruce Herbert and myself.
All right, awesome. I'm glad you chimed in with that, Melody.
A roll of toilet paper will really be quite valuable.
No way, this is a big deal, and this is a very cool workshop. We've never really offered anything like this, and so we're really excited to see. And I just want to thank you all. Some of you on the call here today have already registered. We're really excited to see you there next month. Okay, moving right along, just like that Muppet song. Leadership Academy. So this year's Leadership Academy will be a series of virtual and free webinars rather than a paid one-day in-person workshop. And we're going to get started with supporting inclusivity in the library. That first webinar is Thursday, February 25th. From 1 to 2 p.m. And I want you to join us for our first webinar with invited speakers, Madeline Shackelford Washington. She's the coordinator of the Music Library at the University of Houston, and Kelly Gonzalez, who's our president and chair of the governing board and vice president of library services at UT Southwestern, and an all-around fabulous person. I do want to just really quickly thank the TCDL Leadership Academy subcommittee for their leadership, pun intended, in coordinating and curating this very cool and very timely revamped workshop series. I'm going to paste a couple links into chat here in a second. But next up, I just want to remind you we have some really important deadlines approaching for TCDL and the TDL Awards. So the TCDL CFP closes at the end of the month, Friday, January 29th, and then the TDL Awards nominations close the following Friday on February 5th. We are really excited to see what you are cooking up out there. We want to see what you have to share with the TDL community. So get those proposals submitted, nominate yourself, nominate your colleagues, and help us make this first fully virtual conference the best ever. That's it for me. Happy Inauguration Day. Back to you, Christy.
Thanks, Leah. And thank you, Bruce and Melody, again for joining us today and sharing about the research integrity webinar series that you're going to be leading us in. I'm just kind of in awe as I listen to all these updates, how much work our team and all of you are doing to build knowledge and within our community. I mean, we've got the Research Integrity webinar series, the Texas Oral History webinar series, the Topics in Research Data Management series, Leadership Academy, and TCDL all coming up in the next few months. These are all fabulous opportunities, and they're all driven by our members and who want to share their expertise. And so we're really excited and grateful for being able to coordinate some of that with you. We do have time for a couple questions today, if there are any out there for any of the panelists today. We didn't let Courtney talk today, but she is here, can answer questions if you have any.
And her pearls look great.
That's right. Well, if you do have questions, you all know where to find us. So please reach out if we can help in any way. Oh, okay. We have a question about we see the February 25th webinar details for the Leadership Academy posted online, but wonder about other webinars in this series. Good question. Leah, can you address that one?
Yeah, great question, Melanie, and hello. We are working on curating our speakers. We sent out invitations to some speakers for our next topic in the series, which I think has something to do with how to have a good meeting. If anyone on the call here is from Leadership Academy, correct me in chat here, but we sent out invitations right before the winter holidays, and so we just kind of need to bug some people, I think. We're going to we have topics planned from February through June, possibly skipping May, or we might have something like a roundtable at the TCDL virtual conference, but they're still kind of in the works. So it's all coming into shape, building the plane while we're flying it, like most things, TCDL wise this year, with it being such a strange year. But yeah, Melanie, awesome. And you know what, we'll have lots more updates. We're just still trying to add some ingredients to this gumbo of Leadership Academy, and it's going to be really rad. Thanks
Great.
for asking.
So stay tuned and make sure you're subscribed to the TDL email list to get those announcements. Any other questions? All right. Well, thanks for spending some time with us today. It's always good to be with our members and give you a little information. Again, if you have any questions, let us know, and we will see you here again a month from now, if not sooner. Hope everybody has a great day. Bye-bye.